Evening, everybody.
Hello, sir.
Evening, sir.
Evening. Okay. Okay. Just checking we don't have anybody having trouble getting in. Okay, looks like it might be us. Up. Kill me. Take one. Raise your right hand and recite the tenets. Shijok, courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit. And the student oath. Shijok, I shall observe the tenets of Taekwondo. I shall respect the instructor and seniors. I shall never misuse Taekwondo. I shall be a champion of freedom and justice. I shall build a more peaceful world. Bottle. We just had a class with the juniors. Just come forward and sit down for a bit. We just had a class with the juniors, and I started out by asking them what courtesy was. I want to go a little bit deeper for you guys. Can somebody tell me the difference between courtesy and protocol?
So, courtesy is a value or a quality of a person that causes them to act respectfully towards others. A protocol is a system of customs, if you will, that would demonstrate how courtesy could be applied in a certain situation to allow someone to act respectfully to others. Right,
right. So courtesy is about how you're feeling, what you're trying to do with your behavior, whereas protocol is the expression of that behavior and how it's commonly expressed in a particular society. And where those two things can clash, we have examples within Taekwondo, right? Where different ways that Taekwondo do things versus New Zealand society does things in terms of its protocol. Whereas the desire to show courtesy should be common throughout. What are the advantages for us of being courteous? Is it important to be courteous, and if so, why?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, Mr. West.
It like builds up better relationships with other people, as well as it just generally, it's just generally a good thing to do. It's a lot easier to be courteous than to try and actively be incourteous or just mean to someone.
Yeah, I really like the first part of the answer that you gave, where you say being courteous helps you to establish better relationships. And we are an interconnected society of relationships. The way you get on with other people is essential. And if you're courteous to other people all the time, you're going to have better relationships with people. You get more friends, even people that you don't see all the time. You get better respect from those people if you show them respect as well. And in fact, the definition of courtesy for Taekwondo is a little bit broader than the dictionary definition of courtesy. It encompasses this concept of respect, which I think in linguistic terms should actually be the other way around. But we think of courtesy as involving this concept of respect for people, respect for their property. I would expand it these days to respect for the environment and stuff as well. So it's just generally showing respect towards people, things, animals, and just generally showing respect. And if you do give that respect, then you receive it back. So how does that overlap with the concept of seniority in Taekwondo? What does it mean to be a senior? Do you want to have a go, Liam? There you go. Unpause and give it a go.
To be like a role model to younger kids so they learn from you, to be respectful.
Absolutely, to be a role model for junior students in particular. Yeah, to be a role model for your juniors. Yeah, absolutely. What else? Can you give me an example of how you would show courtesy toward your juniors in a way that is demonstrating being a role model? Anyone? An example of how you show courtesy towards your juniors in a way that demonstrates how you are being a role model.
So being respectful to the juniors when you're giving them feedback or teaching them about aspects of Taekwondo, that will encourage them to in turn be respectful to other students when they're trying to share their own knowledge as they go up the ranks. Absolutely,
being respectful in the way that you give feedback. An example of that is in the past, we had some really bad teaching techniques in the past. And we'd often correct people's stances and stuff just by knocking their foot with their own foot. General Che never did it. And it took me a little while to notice. He always knelt down and adjusted the foot of one of his students to correct it with his hands. Never, ever adjusted with his feet. It's a really respectful thing to do. So it's just little things like that. So whether it's doing it through your voice or through your actions, demonstrating courtesy all the time is really important. When your juniors bow and let you enter a dojang first, of course you say thank you. Thank you. You don't necessarily have to step back and say, no, you go first, because if you're the senior, it's the right thing for them to let you go first, but you thank them for doing so. Okay, acknowledge the fact that they've shown that respect. Also in Confucius, because this all comes from Confucius philosophy, this concept of seniority and junior relationships. And it's not necessarily a static relationship. So Liam, you're a good example. Red stripe in Taekwondo, and you have an adult who's a yellow belt walk in. So who goes first through the door? Now, in a Taekwondo world, Liam's the senior. But in society, you default to your adults. Your adults are your seniors. So we recommend that a child should always let an adult through the door first, even if they're a more senior rank. Okay? When you're, mum, if you, Liam, your dad hasn't trained in a while, but you're your dad's senior in class. But at home, that doesn't mean you get to order them around, does it? Okay, so the relationships, the position of those relationships can change depending on where you are in the current environment, where you currently are, what the situation is, as well as age and all sorts of other things like that. So if you have the right attitude of courtesy, then your attitude towards seniority and junior relationships will be positive as well. You'll always treat your juniors with courtesy. And then if the situation reverses and you are a junior in some instances and that person is the senior, you're still showing that courtesy towards each other and that respect towards each other. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, let's train. Oh, just get loosened up first. Bouncing lightly. Another week inside our own homes. Give your hands a shake. Rotate your wrists. Change direction. Elbows. Change direction. I missed the dojang already. Arms back. I'm sure what we're supposed to learn from this is if the government tells you to self-isolate for 2 weeks, stay home. Don't go to the gym. Don't go to KFC. Arms forwards. Other people that had done that when they were asked to, we wouldn't be in lockdown now. And arms back. One up, one down. Torso. Left ankle. change direction. While we're doing the mindless stuff, I want you to think about a sequence and one of your patterns that you find a little bit difficult that you can do in your current environment. Change foot. That might mean, depending on where you are, that the flying psychic and two moves a little bit difficult to do, but I'm sure there'll be another sequence in your pattern that you'll find challenging. So think about a couple of sequences across your patterns, change direction, and we'll do a little bit of work on those sequences. Hands on knees, down, and back, down, and back, down, and back. And legs outwards. Just keep your hands up. The good news for me for this lockdown is that I hadn't actually cancelled my Zoom meetings from the last lockdown. So it saved me about 20 minutes of arranging meetings. Well, maybe about 15. 10 or 15 minutes. Inwards. And hips. Nice and gently from here, just keep your hands up. Front snap kick. One leg then the other. Just to warm your legs up. While you're doing that, I'll just check to make sure no one's been trying to get into the meeting. My phone's buzzed a couple of times. If you want to blow some steam off each night, feel free to come along to the 5 o'clock class on Wednesday, so you can do 6 o'clock Monday, 6 o'clock Tuesday, 5 o'clock Wednesday, 6 o'clock Thursday. With me. Cool to have some good faces in each of those classes. Come on. One of the other things that's worthwhile doing a little bit of work on when we're restricted in space is just taking some time to consider our foundation, our basics. So I want you to think a little bit about from here, forearm guarding blocks. Sine wave in particular. So we're going to start with that. From here, we just want you to put your hands on your hips, and we're just going to drop sine wave down, up, down into your walking stance, down, up, down into walking stance. Forward and backward. Make sure your foot comes halfway in towards your other foot. Your head goes down first, then rises up, and then down. You do that by flexing the stationary leg. The knee dips down, up, down. Make sure when you finish your stance, that stationary foot, the heel is on the floor. Your back heel is on the floor. Or I guess more correctly, both heels are on the floor. Change sides. Take a look a couple of times that you're going halfway in and then out again. Called an outcurve line. Just naturally curving, not zigzagged. Your down motion happens as you come forward. As you pass your other foot, you're rising up and you're kind of falling into your finished position. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Then do the same thing in L stance. Make sure that you're pivoting on the ball of your foot. You still want that gentle arc. Down, up, down. Dr. Vardas, feel free to pipe in based on what you're seeing. And to the other side. And come on. I'm sure you've all heard of me talk about sine wave in a 3 count. You've got the down, up, down. We know that bit, right? The first part, then of applying that to your hand movements in particular, is hands in front of your chest. Hands in front of chest is 1 with your down motion. Then you do your backward motion on 2, which is when you rise up. And then your finish movement is on 3 when you drop down. So we're going down, up, down. Hands in front of chest. Intermediate position, finish position. 1, 2, 3. That gets acceleration. Now we often teach our beginners intermediate position, finish position. I've tried to stop doing that because we used to go like this. And you notice that my hands have stopped. Oh, stuck on the ground there. Hands stop. And then I do my block. So that's why we've got that first piece, hands in front of chest, because it means that once I start moving them, my hands don't stop. And that's one of the principles of the training secret of Taekwondo. Once the movement's in motion, it doesn't stop until it reaches the target. So pause, reach back and block forward. Go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you reach back with that back hand. Okay, pause for a moment. I'm going to do this facing forward. There's a few people, I see a couple of you, and it's quite common in our class at the moment for some reason. People are reaching to here. This back hand is coming outwards this way instead of going back behind me. Okay, so it's only coming to about here, and it's not getting a full trajectory. So from this position, if I'm doing it, reach back behind me. I'm not reaching back so far that my shoulder tenses up. Okay, but I'm not just coming here to 90 degrees this way. I've got to reach back behind me a bit. Okay. So just check. When you're reaching back, you're slightly going up. And we don't drop our hands in the middle. So from chest, we come slightly up. Then drop down and block. From chest, reach back and go slightly up to eye level with that back hand. And drop and block. Then when I come forward, I keep my hands in front of my chest. Just go left and right. Go forward and backward. Make sure you don't drop those hands down to your belt or to your tummy. Keep them up. And then make sure you're reaching back behind you. Cool. And the last little element I want you to think about for everyone is a little jerk of the core, your hips. So from here, I'm not just going like this. A couple of you are looking a little bit like everything's going together. Coordination means that your hands, feet, eye, and breath all finish at the same time. But it doesn't mean that they move through the motion at the same time. From here, I reach back with my arms, I delay my hip, and then I'll whip my hip first, and then my hands will catch up because my arms are faster. You are much faster with your hands than you are with your hips. So your hip leads with these big muscles around your core, and then your arms catch up. Feel that whip. Go. Get that whipping of your core. Your belt should flick a little bit. And you should feel your power skyrocket from doing that. You get so much of your power from here. So if you don't coordinate your hand and hip properly, your power will be significantly less. And that doesn't mean they move together. It means the hip moves first and the hands catch up as quickly as they can. And that applies to everything, almost. There are a few blocks like Sung Pormak Maki that you can't do it. Sorry, Dr. V. Can't hear you, Dr. V. Can see your lips moving and you're not muted, Dr. V, but we can't hear. You haven't got headphones plugged in or something, have you? Reach back. Every time to get nice power with this movement. And come on. It's a real tragedy in training that quite often we let our guarding blocks get slack. We're doing kicking drills and things, and we just start getting sloppy with the guarding blocks, and then we try and whack some power into the kicks. But that creates bad habits with the guarding blocks. Suddenly our guarding blocks start looking like this. Every time you do a guarding block in class. Strong. Kick. Guarding block. Every time. And you guys are the example. What you guys do, everyone else has to copy. Dr. V, can we hear you now?
Good.
You're on.
Lucky, I noticed that your front hand, when you were doing your guarding block, you had the tendency to go a bit too far out. Remember, your block is your forearm and should be aligned with the middle of the shoulder. So don't go over. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Now let's add to that a little bit about kicks. I'm going to start with real basic ones because I want to make sure that we're using our sine wave correctly after the kicks. Okay, so rather than getting fancy kicks, and we're not going to fly or anything anyway because we'll break lights and stuff. We don't want to do that. So from here, guarding block, and then here from your kick, retain balance. Then same motion, hands in front of chest, sine wave, down, up, down for your block. If you're going backwards, it's the same thing. Sine wave. Okay, just do some front snap kicks and check that you're doing a sine wave and a strong block after you kick. If you do it with front kicks, then it'll translate over to the other kicks. Where you go. Forward guarding block. Sine wave before you block again. Get that core. Think about using the hip in your guarding block. After you've done 5 front snap kicks each leg, do another kick. Choose one.
Isabel, don't turn too much. Don't show me your back when you do your movement.
So not here.
There's a tendency to turn a bit too much and show your back. No, just here. Fine.
So remain half facing
Yes.
and reach back. Remember, guys, that your hips can move independently of your shoulders. So when you're giving your hips that little bit of power, you don't have to turn your shoulders at the same time. Your hips can lead. So your hips can turn so that they're sideways this way while your shoulders are still half facing. Okay, pick your kick, nice. Just play around with your basic kicks. Make sure you pivot right. Sorry, Dr. V.
Liam, when you do your guarding block after your kick, double check yourself and correct yourself to make sure that your stance is correct. So the front toe aligned with your back heel, that you're properly sitting into your stance with the proper weight on your back leg.
Okay, I expect you guys to know the angle of the supporting foot for all of your basic kicks. Turning kick, 45 degrees away. Side turning kick, 75 degrees away. So is side piercing kick, back piercing kick. Most of those are 75 degrees away. And display it. So when you do your turning kick, you must pivot that foot. Otherwise, you cannot get the power of your hips. Your leg motion might look fine, but you cannot get power from your hips if you don't open them up by pivoting this supporting foot. And remember, we're all about power.
Really good, Liam. Continue like that.
Strong guarding blocks. Don't let that guarding block go sloppy on me there. Every time, strong. Reach back. Block forward. Strong. And pause. Okay, quick brain exercise. Right and left, one kick each leg. But then, so I want you to do each kick once each leg, and I want you to demonstrate for me as many basic kicks, not flying, as you can. Fast. Right leg, left leg, then the next kick. Right leg, left leg, then next kick. Right kick, left leg. How many basic kicks can you show me? Go. Strong guarding blocks, don't get sloppy. Pretty good. Okay. You've got front snap kick, side front snap kick. I saw front rising kick, side rising kick. I saw turning kicks. I saw side turning kicks. I saw vertical kicks inward, vertical kick outward. I saw twisting kick. I think I saw downward kick, reverse hooking kick, reverse turning kick. I don't think I saw any back snap kicks. Did you see any back snap kicks, Dr. V?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Oh. Any other bits? We saw downward kicks, I think. Pick shape kicks. I think we might have seen pick shape kicks. Didn't see any variations of tools. So I saw turning kicks with the ball of the foot, but remember we've also got turning kicks with the instep, turning kick with the toes, turning kick with the knee. So you could have been going for quite a while there. Front snap kick with the toe, front snap kick with the shin, front snap kick with the knee, turning kick with the shin. What other variations did we miss? I think that, but we were pretty good. Yeah, upward kick. We didn't get upward kick with the knee, but we got front snap kick with the knee as well. So there were a few that we missed, but we did pretty well. Good work. Grab a quick drink. Okay, so I asked you while we were warming up to think about some sequences and patterns you wanted to work on. I want you now just to do the sequence that you want to work on. Pick the first sequence from a pattern that you want to work on, and then just work on it. 4 or 5 movements, that's all you need to worry about. Something that's a little bit tricky for its sine wave, for its turning, for how I found, for example, knife hand and wood strikes and one yo. Took me a long time to get comfortable with those, particularly on the left side. So choose something that feels a little bit uncomfortable. Start off just doing the movements slowly. Not slow motion, but just slowly. Because if you do them slowly, you should get the feel of whether or not the tool is moving in the right direction to do its job. Once you've done it slowly a few times, then pick up the power and the pace. Go. Dr. V and I will just give you some feedback as you go. If you've got any questions, you can unmute and ask. Cool, Mr. S. I'm going to throw a little spanner in for you because that's a good challenging sequence to work on. From your dolyochagi here, keep this way to plant your feet and then pivot to your back piercing kick. Also think about that reverse knife hand front strike. Make sure that that motion is working correctly. Mr. West, I'm going to give you two. You've got those first six. Do you know any of the next movements in the pattern yet? Okay, let's do that now. So from here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to step the left leg forward and in continuous motion, you're going to do an X fist pressing block and then a twin fist vertical punch. I'll turn around in a moment to show you about what they are. Then a middle front snap kick, holding your hands in that vertical punch. Then you land and do a 4 fist middle punch, and then a second 4 fist middle punch in normal speed. Okay, so I'll demonstrate facing you. I'm not going to try and mirror it because I can't remember how it's going to come across in Zoom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to step my left leg forward. 1 and 2 in continuous motion. Okay, X fist pressing block, front leg, front hand. Here, so this motion. And then sine wave, hands to the side, and boom, twin fist vertical punch. Okay, now from here, middle front snap kick. So it's solar plexus height, sine wave, walking stance punch, and then in normal speed, we do a second walking stance punch. Okay? So once more with my back to you so you can see which hands are doing the job. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11. That's it. 1 and 2. So same speed as Dangun. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And then middle front kick, punch. Don't go too fast with those, they're normal speed. So usually in your patterns, like in your GOP, you're doing them fast motion. In this pattern, it's done normal speed. Okay, so they're two separate movements. Okay, hold on.
Mr. Saper,
Wait a minute.
the first technique is a front strike. Okay, the front strike. At the moment, you are on your shoulder or chest line, you're not in your center line. Okay, so you need to correct a little bit. Then remember what Master B told you after the turning kick. Okay, you pivot, but put really your feet together. Okay, feet together, and then you deliver. Yes.
Before you turn.
Yep.
That's it. Feet together before you turn. And then from here, I pivot and do my back piercing kick. So I'm not doing my turning kick, turning and putting my foot down, because then I won't get any hip power in my back kick. From here, 1, feet are down here, pivot, 2. It looks really nice that way too. So front strike,
Yep.
You're turning already. After you're doing your turning kick, you're already turning to do your back piercing kick. So do your turning kick, then keep your body 45 degrees, put your feet together. Facing over this way. Oh, I think mirroring you. Facing this way. This way. Yeah, that's better. So pivot into that back kick. Okay. Good, Liam. Liam, one of the things I'm liking in particular is I can see the difference in height between movements 1 and 3. This is shoulder height. This is solar plexus height. And I can see the difference. That's very good. Okay, Isabel, from here, half facing, we actually turn a little bit earlier to full facing before we do this thrust. And that thrust you really want to play with because it's beautiful. It's a really powerful movement. Now, when you come to movement 3 and also to movement 6, this hand is in line with your shoulder, not out over here. Okay, this is beside you, eye level, turn so your back fist is behind you, but this one here is in front of you. Just beside naturally where your shoulder is. It's just reaction force. It's not a block. That's it. Isabel, good. So from here, here. And the challenge is getting everything to finish together. Your hands, your feet, your eye, and your breath. If you have got, watch your L stance there, Liam. There's a common mistake there, and you're doing a little bit of it now. That first movement, your L stance is a little bit small because you're about to do a front kick. You actually want to make sure you finish your L stance and your body weight has to come back to do your front kick. Okay, don't make your front kick short so you can sneak in the kick easily. Finish your L stance, shift to your front kick. Get a bit more power there too. Okay. Any questions, feel free to ask. Mr. West, that twin fist vertical punch is coming inward a little bit, or should you think of it coming forward a bit more? Okay, so if I do it bird's eye view, it's like this. Little arc back and then boom, forward. It's a really nice movement. Bang! Yeah. Don't bring your hands back behind your shoulders, they stay in front. So from here, they come this way.
Liam, with your rear foot stance, you have the tendency to be too long. So you need to shorten it. It's only one shoulder width from the outside of the feet, from your rear foot sword to your front toes. Okay, so it's quite short.
Yes, Mr. Saper, that looks good. That's it. Okay, now work on another sequence if you want to. Mr. West will give you the next few movements. Give me the next 6 or 7 maybe. Okay, so from your punch here, the next movement is you come forward in slow motion and do a twin side elbow thrust. So it's this way. Okay, so from here, that's it, good. Now we're going to go right, left, left, right, left, left with our sun maki. Don't stamp too hard on the floor in your house because this is stamping motion. So we'll add the stamping motion back in the dojang. We don't want any holes in mum and dad's floor. We don't want him to get angry with you. From here to do stamping motion, we put our first we put our hands up like a W shape. They basically stay there. My outer forearms are facing forwards. So my palms are facing towards my head. The hands are about the fist, top of the fist is about eye level. So they get a little dip, a little W shape, which is why it's called W shape lock. Now coming back this way here from my twin side elbow thrust to my W, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a good and soggy in the air. Make my walking stance like I'm standing on a 30-degree angle. Still shoulders forward and hips forward. Then when I fall down to the ground, my hips flick around that 90 degrees, and that's what turns my arms and gives me power. I'm blocking with only one arm. Just this arm is blocking. The other one's just for balance. If I tried to do it like this, I'd fall over. I'd have no stability. So I go right foot, and then my left foot, I come straight through and make a walking stance, and then drop and twist my hips. And then I'll do my left foot again. So it's right, left, left. And then right, left, left. Okay? So right, left, left, right, left, left. So from where we were, after we've gone 1 and 2, middle front kick, punch, punch at normal speed, cross, everything finishes together. Right, left, make sure you land in a good sitting stance, left, right, got to adjust, I haven't got quite enough room, left, left. From here, we want to try and flow. 1, 2, 3. Try not to stop. Okay, but all that comes from your hips. You'll see people do funny stuff with your arms. So ignore funny stuff. Just straighten your shoulders and hips up, and then drop, boom, and flip into it. Okay, that's 7 more movements. Mr. Saper, just watch the width of that L stance. At the start of that movement, you're a little bit too wide with your L stance. Front toe lines up with your back heel, which when you turn your heels out gives you 2.5 centimeters. Don't rush it, Liam. And feel free to move on to another sequence if you want to. Just slightly higher with that movement for Liam. It's a little bit low. That's it. Okay, Isabel, watching you. Okay, Isabel, 2 things for you. What I saw so far. First up, your front snap kick needs to be middle. It's a little bit too low. It's a low kick at your tummy button height. It needs to be your solar plexus height at the moment of impact, okay? It needs to be up here. That was, I think, the second thing. What was my first thing? I'll watch again. That was it. Okay, cool. Those 2 movements in consecutive motion. So the X-fist pressing block, it kind of comes over and downward a little bit rather than coming in this way. Okay, it comes over and down. From this position here, over and down. And then my twin fist vertical punch, down, up. My hands start beside me. They come back and inward a little bit and then punch forward. So they make kind of a little J shape this way. And then you'll feel your powers going forward with your punch rather than coming inward with your punch. It goes forward. So I'm going 1 and 2. Okay, try that. Down a little bit and forward.
Mr. Saper, when you go in the preparation for Sanbadak no Odomaki, your palm pressing block, you need to be full facing. Here you should be full facing. Yes. And then you go down.
That's better, Isabel. That twin fist vertical punch, start palm up with your hands beside your shoulders. So rather than coming from here and going upwards for your twin fist vertical punch, start palm up at shoulder height and then come in and go forwards. Okay, so from here they'll go this way rather than going up this way and this way. Question, Mr. West?
Yes, sir. What way are the hands facing in the double elbow strike?
The double elbow thrust, palms behind you.
So
Palms face, yeah. So when you cross, you'll cross with your palms towards you, and they don't really twist. Thrusts don't have much twist at all. So they'll go across here and then just go straight out. You just got to make sure that your elbows are lining up outwards because it's a side elbow thrust, not coming behind you. It's not a back elbow thrust. It's coming out this way. And yes, your palms are facing behind you this way. Good question.
thanks, sir.
Watch the width of that L stance, Mr. Sabro. Very common to step too wide here, and you're stepping a little bit too wide. Make sure you got your L here, and then change into low. That's it. Toe and heel on the same line. And that's a really common sequence to have L stances that are too wide. And Jungun. Good. Now the challenge there, Mr. West, from here is going to be not to pause. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So when you're in that 2 position here at the moment, and you're doing the right thing, at the moment you're getting your balance here and feeling that position. And that's good. When you get more comfortable with it, you've got to be falling when you're in that position. Otherwise it'll stop. You have to be falling when you're here. So you've only got a split second to turn your body and you're not stopping halfway. But get the movement right first, which is good.
Liam, I'm not sure, because of the angle, I'm not sure to see properly. When you do your rear foot stance, your front foot is 25 degrees inward. Okay, so it's not straight, it's 25 degrees inward. Okay, and your heel is just off the floor, so you don't need to be like this, just off the floor. Okay, and there, not like that, like that. Yeah, and just one shoulder width total.
Back foot looks good there, Liam. It's a common mistake that back foot points in the wrong way, and you've got it well. That's better, Colin. Yes, that looks better. Make sure you get full motion with both of those arms, Colin, for the palm upward block. So extend them the other way and then pass through the finish. You can over-exaggerate that intermediate position a little bit, Mr. Saper. Just a little bit more.
Big movement.
Cool.
Yeah. You open your hands when they cross. Okay, so you have your hands closed, and when they come, here you start to open. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And come on. Shot. Come in, grab a quick drink. If you've got any questions, unmute your mic and ask. As we've worked on a little bit over the last couple of weeks, that is a way to get better at patterns. So repeating entire patterns again and again, that's a way to get good at a sequence, but it's not a way to necessarily improve your techniques. Taking the sequences out of the patterns and repeating the sequences, getting your stances better, getting your trajectories better. What we started out with doing, we are doing the movements, whatever they may be, without power, but not slow motion, just passing through them. So you can feel whether or not your trajectories feel right, whether your stances feel right, this sort of stuff. Are your heights correct? It's a really good way to work through your patterns, just to make sure that the movements make sense. And if you think about, what am I trying to do with this movement? What am I trying to do with this? Okay, something's attacking me this way and I'm blocking it. Is this going to work? General Che in the seminars used to say, what is tool? What is target? Show me. So here my tool is my knife hand. The target is an attacking technique, a punch or a kick or something. And then I can show you that it works. Okay, with all the movements. What is my tool? Knife hand. What is my target? Carotid artery. Does it work? And you do that with a partner. Just try it out slowly. You're not trying to hurt each other, but just, does this work? Try the attacks with each other. Does this work? Does it work? And if it doesn't, ask a question. Because if it doesn't work, something is wrong, because all the techniques should work. Okay? So take those sequences out, feel them. Do they work? Then pick up the pace. Then string them together into your patterns. You get much, much better patterns, and your taekwondo will make sense to you. And if your taekwondo makes sense to you, everything's going to be more useful in your free sparring, your step sparring. It just flows through. Cool. And self-defense as well. Okay. Let's just, if no one's got any questions, just stretch off. While we're stretching, we are, of course, stuck in our homes again for another week. Just do what you can to help out at home. You guys are all a little bit older. You've got your schoolwork to do. Mums and dads are trying to do their own work as well. So, it can be really tough on everybody. If you're self-sufficient, just sitting down and getting your schoolwork done, that's going to make your parents' lives a lot easier. If you need help from your parents, ask. I don't understand this problem I've been asked to do at school. Can you help me with it? They may or may not be able to. At your level, sometimes your parents don't know your stuff anymore anyway. It gets too complex for them. Sometimes they'll know it. So don't be afraid to ask. But when you finish your schoolwork, offer to help a little bit. Preparing dinner, doing dishes, that sort of stuff. Just something to take the pressure off your parents. Then hopefully everyone will be happier and less tired. And once you get that right, come and show my kids how to do it. And Dr. V's son, I'm sure, too. Because I know you guys are all pretty awesome. And change legs. Hand both legs at the front. Breathe in and out. It's been a while since I've actually invited some new people into your squad, Dr. V. It's about time I look and see who we've got.
Yep. Well, we already have a couple in mind, I think.
Yeah, what, sorry?
We already have a couple in mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we do. I just haven't done anything about it. If you do get a second to remind me who those couple are, then I'll get the invitations out this weekend. I don't have to go on to Toddler on Sunday now for the update course. It does also remind me, were you already booked on for the Auckland update course?
No, I was not.
Yeah, so this delay is actually a pretty good opportunity for me to remind everyone to get booked on the instructor update course. But it was on a Saturday, and I can't do Saturdays because I teach till 12. So I was going to have to go down to Tauranga for the Sunday one. So we'll try and get all of our guys on it. It's a bit of a blessing, really, to give me the opportunity to remind everybody to get booked. And heels in. Make sure, guys, somewhere in your notes, whether it be in your the back page of your syllabus book or in your training notebook, you've got a list of all the stuff you've done outside of club, the tournaments you've competed in, all that sort of stuff. Mr. Saper, I'm sure you're going to be fine for your 10 that you need for black belt. Just get that list down now. It's another thing you don't have to do later. I'm trying to get better so I don't have somebody in your position, Mr. Saper, a month ago saying, have you done your instructor update course? Oh, you didn't know you had to do that? So that's not going to happen again. Sorry, your induction course.
Oh, there is a first aid course organized in Papakura.
That's right.
End of the month.
I think it's on our website too. If you look at our calendar, I think I've put that on there.
Checking.
Got a feeling it's another date I can't do. And next part. Breathe in and out.
Yeah. It's on the calendar.
Cool. What's the date, sir?
Saturday, 20th of March.
Okay. Well, I can't do that date. Who's already done a first aid course, guys? Any of you have a first aid certificate? And change. It's a really good thing just to have. So I highly recommend you get on it. And these ones that they do at counties, one, I'm pretty sure we use the same organization now. They're really good fun. They're really well priced. And it's just a really good skill set to have. So 20th of March, if you're free, that's again another credit point, another thing towards your, I don't know if there's a minimum age on them.
I don't know.
Well, I think first aid course is an essential. Everyone should have one. And this organization is really cool because you do scenarios at the end where you get like, wear old clothes because you have like little strap-on fractures and stuff with little blood bags, and you squirt the little blood bag and blood comes out, and people come up and go, "Oh, you're okay," and you squirt some blood out. It's really hilarious. More hilarious than the real thing would be, I'm sure. Go straight down the middle. We've also got the Star Series tournament coming up too. All of you guys should be going to that. That's sometime in March as well. And that's in Bruce Pullman Park, Takanini.
It does not specify the age limit.
Okay, on the first aid course, cool. So there can't be one.
So I do not know.
So all of you guys should do the first aid course. And the Star Series tournament's in March too.
Yeah, the 28th.
28th.
Yeah.
Guys, if you see any of the other guys in club, let them know. Let's try and get a group along to that first to that Star Series tournament. It's the first opportunity we've had for a tournament for ages. So get in there and get competing and have some fun. And legs in. Unfortunately, I'll need you guys to represent me because I think I've got a board meeting or something that day. I think I have, maybe not. Sure, I've got something on. Change. I deliberately got really technical tonight, so hopefully you pick some stuff up, thinking a little bit more about how that sine wave and stuff applies. No sloppy guarding blocks. You guys should lead the way. A class should be looking at you going, "Oh, that's how I'm supposed to do it." After every kick, strong guarding blocks. And give your legs a shake. To the left and tidy up. Thank you, guys. Great to see you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for a decent workout. And then again, if you, as I said before, if you want to come to 5 o'clock Wednesday, there's no real disadvantage having big guys and little guys in the class at the moment. So come along to the 5 o'clock Wednesday, 6 o'clock Thursday. Just make the most of it. Train heaps. Thanks, guys. Come here. To clock. And face Dr. V, although it's probably the same direction. Come here. To clock.
Okay.
What's up? Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow night.
Thanks, up.
Write some notes down.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.